Hey everyone, I've decided to make another one of these videos because the first one was such a good experience for me. I really appreciate the feedback and the people who watched and listened to it. It means a lot to me, genuinely, because I don't usually open up about stuff like that. Anyway, today's topic is going to be a little bit on the lighter side, but it still has ties to mental well being and mental clarity. And that topic is decluttering. So, decluttering is in a bunch of different senses. You have physical decluttering of objects, you have mental decluttering, and then you also have digital decluttering. So, it manifests itself in many different areas, and I want to explain my experiences in decluttering those areas and the impacts that it's had on me, the positive impacts. I will start with the physical. For the longest time, I had a closet that was full, just full of junk and stuff that I wasn't using and stuff that didn't have much sentimental value to me. Every time I would open up the curtain for my closet, I would think about all the junk that's in there, and it just didn't give off good vibes. Additionally, when I would go in my closet to look for something, I'd have to sift through all of the junk and I wouldn't know where everything was. I hated having to move things around to get the stuff. So, around December of 2019, that's when I really tackled the decluttering of my closet. I had been doing research by watching videos and listening to others and reading others' accounts with decluttering and how it's benefited their lives. And I knew that if I were to try it, the first place to start would be my closet. And that's what I did. It was a very long and a very difficult process, an annoying process too. Yes, it felt good to get rid of all the stuff, but choosing what stuff to get rid of and making those decisions and having to look through everything, it can be a very challenging experience sometimes. I'd say the hardest part of it was going through my sentimental items. I have a dedicated place for sentimental stuff from my childhood. And going through that stuff and choosing which stuff to get away, which stuff to donate, or in most cases, I'd have to throw it out because it was personal. Going through that stuff was difficult, having to make those decisions. Some of them were easy decisions. Oh, this thing doesn't mean that much to me now. And some of them was like, I don't know, maybe. Of course, I kept a lot of stuff. Those maybe decisions resulted in things being thrown out and things being kept. I still have a lot of stuff from my childhood, but I was able to downsize it significantly. I had two drawers full of sentimental stuff, which was taking up a lot of space. I had this drawer system on the left side of my closet. Bottom one had a really big drawer with a medium sized drawer above it. All of that was where the sentimental stuff was. And then I had these thin drawers on the top for putting cables in and whatever else I have to put in there. So it was taking up a lot of space, and that was the big reason why my closet was so disorganized because stuff didn't have homes. I had to go through a lot of my toy cars as a kid, some of my uh, other toys from like TV shows, the SpongeBob, my Legos, stuff, stuff you play with when you're a kid. And I kept a lot of that stuff. I kept bits and pieces of stuff from each collection, but in the end, I ended up giving a lot of it to Goodwill. And the stuff I couldn't give to Goodwill, unfortunately, I just had to throw away. Giving stuff away and selling it makes me feel good because I know someone else is going to make use of that of that thing. So I consolidated my childhood memories and sentimental objects from my childhood into one box, which is good. I don't want to get rid of everything. Some people can, but I need to have some stuff from my childhood that's tangible, things I can hold in my hand. And the stuff that I kept, it has sentimental value. So whenever I go through that box, it's going to be a meaningful experience. Every single thing I look at is going to be meaningful. So on the topic of selling things, the most of the things that I sold were video games. I sold off a lot of retro video games that I just wasn't playing. I play most of my games on my PC anyways. So these games were sitting around doing nothing, not being played and not being enjoyed. So selling those games and knowing that people bought them with a purpose and are likely going to play them makes me feel good because they're not just sitting around in a closet. And that goes for anything that I sold or given to Goodwill. But what did this whole thing do for me? Decluttering my closet and getting it more organized do for me? Well, for one, I'm more organized. It's much easier to find stuff. I said before that I had 2 drawers of sentimental items that were taking up an enormous amount of room. And with that sentimental collection shrunken, I was able to find more homes for things. I was able to put items in that space and not have them laying around. Getting rid of stuff that didn't mean much to me, it reduces my mental clutter. That's a point I brought up at the start of the video. Because every time I'd look in that closet, I would think about those items. I would think about the stuff that's taking up space and it looks awful and it's messy and unorganized and it's just not a good feeling to have when I open my closet to get my shoes or something like that. It's a feeling I'd like to avoid. And overall, it was a really good experience for me, even though it was time consuming and it was difficult at times. And I do not regret it in the slightest. I don't even remember a lot of what I donated or sold or got rid of. Every time I look in my closet now, it's mostly clean. I am not totally done with decluttering. I am like 95% done. There's still a few things that I need to, just like a few items I need to determine what I'm going to do with, and stuff that I need to sell or get rid of. Still need to do that. But I am almost done with it. And every time I look into that closet, it's clean. It's organized. I don't mind having the curtain open. That's how good it makes me feel. I would never want the curtain open when my closet was a mess. And it also showed me how much stuff I had that didn't mean much to me, or I wasn't using, or I didn't need. Just had too much stuff. And it's mental clutter too. That's the thing. So in addition to getting rid of things, saving space, and making money, it provided positive mental health benefits for me. Made me happier. Gave me more joy because I avoided those negative feelings that I mentioned earlier. So that was physical decluttering. The closet's the main thing. There are some things around my room that I need to organize, tidy up, or get rid of. But the closet was the big thing because that's where I keep my stuff. But what else is there? I mentioned also there was digital decluttering. And the digital decluttering, that is me going through my files on my computer, any cloud services, backing up hard drives, and making sure that the information is organized. That was something that took me a while. I had to go through all of the folders on my computer, make sure that everything in there was organized, for one, make sure that the subfolders were named properly and accurately, and then assign files to those folders as needed. And while I was doing that, I identified things that I didn't need anymore. For example, my meme folder where I save memes that I download. I remember going through a lot of images on there and I deleted most of them. Same goes with pictures and documents. There was a lot of stuff, a lot of files that I didn't need, didn't have a use for, or just didn't mean much. Stuff I could re-download again if I really need to. That's the thing too, especially with the memes. I can re-download those memes. What do I need them saved to my computer for? Taking up hard drive space. But of course, there's some memes that do mean something to me, or are exceptionally funny memes that I know I'm gonna want to repost in the future. Those are the ones that I keep around. That's the thing. The things you want to keep around. The things I want to keep around. That's what I had to do for everything on my computer. Do I really need this? Do I want this? If not, it goes in a recycle bin. I did the same process on my cloud storage. Went through everything and I decided what I needed, what I didn't need. And the stuff I needed, I organized into folders. Now, I want to stress that this is a huge, huge task, especially if you have a lot of stuff. And it took a lot of time. I remember I did it in chunks, if I remember correctly, over, I'd say, I want to say a week. So it did take some time, like maybe 45 minutes, 30, 45 minutes a day for a week, if I had to guess. This was a while ago. My memory's a little bit fuzzy on that one. But in the end, it was so worth it. Oh God, it was absolutely worth it. Because like with my closet, there's less things to worry about, and I can find things easier. The same benefits of decluttering in the physical world also apply to the digital world, to your digital life, your digital files. And that was also very helpful for me. Every time I look into File Explorer, I know I have what I need, and anything I don't need is just not there. And then also making sure stuff's backed up. I went through one of my old hard drives that was a part of my previous computer, and there was some data on there that I forgot to transfer over. So I did that and I organized it. And then afterwards, I wiped the drive, and I'm going to be recycling it soon. So that's going to help me declutter. I don't need that hard drive anymore, and it's pretty old, so hey, that helps with the physical decluttering as well. But yeah, having backups of stuff is really important. Please make sure you do that because you don't want to wait until it's too late, until your hard drive on your computer fails. The only thing you want to worry about in that case is replacing the hard drive and not any of your files, any of your important files you have on your computer. You can get Google Drive Cloud Sync, which syncs folders on your computer to your Google Drive account. That's a very easy thing. There's also OneDrive built into Windows 10. You have Dropbox. There's a bunch of different file servers out there. You don't need to buy a NAS file system server if you don't need to. Yeah, that's important. Just thought I would mention that. Yeah, in addition to the files on my computer, I also decluttered my email. I have a bunch of different email accounts and I had thousands of emails I had to go through. This was definitely the harder part of digital decluttering just because there was so much more stuff to deal with going back years and years and years and years of emails. Fortunately, I had done this a few years prior, but since then it ran away and I had so much email to go through. Had to go through my different accounts and more or less go email by email determining what's important. Of course, once I determine what type of emails are important, what's not important, I can then bulk delete it or bulk organize it based on the sender's email address. So that helps speed things up a lot. But I had to go through each individual sender, each individual type of email message, and determine if it was important or not. And when you have a few thousand emails, that takes a lot of time. I remember spending about, God, hour a day for a week and a half or a week. So it wasn't that much longer than the files on my computer, like I mentioned earlier, or my closet. But it definitely, definitely was, God, that was something. But I eventually did it, and I have a much more clutter-free inbox. I can open up my email accounts and not see thousands of unread emails because I know every email is accounted for. I don't have to wonder, oh, what could be in there? But I know. So it helps a lot because I don't have to think about that. That's a common theme between these three types of decluttering is that they all produce the same effects for me. You don't have to think about the clutter, and because of that, you're decluttering your mind too. And you be more organized. It's great. Positive vibes from your stuff, your closet, your computer, your email. You know where everything is, you feel more in control. That's great. It's a great feeling. And of course, once you declutter, you have to, if you don't want to go through this mountain again, you have to make sure you declutter as you go. Make sure you clean up your messes and check your email and delete stuff as it comes in. That's much easier than dealing with it all at once, maybe every 6 months or a year, however often you want to do this. But yeah, the physical decluttering and the digital decluttering, like those all benefit. I can't think of any drawbacks to it aside from the fact that it takes time and a lot of effort. But or you can do it like I did. You can work as long as you want on it. Takes a few days or a week. You could work 15 minutes a day on it for a little bit. It doesn't have to be a big, huge project. You have to do it in 1 day or 2 days. Nah, just take your time with it. Go as fast as you want. Fast as you want. But yeah, it's just been so helpful for me. It gives me a more clear mind, gives me more peace because I don't have to worry or think about the clutter. And it just gives off positive vibes. Makes me feel good about myself, knowing that I went through the mountain of stuff and I'm a more organized person now. And on the topic of organization, uh, I've been doing some stuff recently that has helped me tremendously in staying on task. This is a little bit of a tangent, but since I brought up organization, I think it'd be worth mentioning. Uh, so, what was I going to say? Yeah, organization. I found that writing stuff down, things down that I need to do, like the night before or the morning of that I do them, helps a lot. I basically make a little to-do list for myself and I list out all the things I want to do the next day. And when I get up in the morning, I don't really have to think about it. I can just look at my notes and it's like, oh, I have to do this, and this. And if I don't get everything done, that's okay. I can move it to the next day or reschedule it as needed, but it's been helpful for me. Because before I wouldn't really write things down. Uh, I have a thing that like tells me which assignments I have to do for school and when they're due, and it lists all the assignments in order that they need to be done. But as for like personal stuff, like cleaning and doing chores and stuff like that outside of school, I didn't really have much. So this system has been working really good for me. And of course, it's going to be different for everyone. Everyone has their own ways of being organized, and that's totally fine. Not everyone's going to do things the same way. Everyone's different. What works best for me may work terribly for someone else. You got to find what works for you and make a system for yourself that works. And that can take time. That's not always easy. Staying organized, I remember, was a challenge in high school for me. But I feel like writing things down and planning things, important things, can be helpful. Making the to-do list was helpful for me because I think about it less, and I can review it the night before. I think about what I want to do. I'm intentional, and then I can spend time tomorrow doing it. And then for school, I have a Notion calendar set up. Notion is this task manager system for you can use it for all kinds of things. Task managing, project management. You can use it as a journal. You can use it as a to-do list. There's so much to it, and there's so much more than what I just said. It's a very flexible and powerful program. But I use that to keep track of the assignments I have coming up. That's the thing I mentioned where it puts it in order of due date. So I know what assignments need to be done first and what assignments need to be done last. I import my syllabus into it manually of the assignments I need to do, and it just schedules it automatically, and I don't have to really think about when things are due very much. Finding ways to offload that stress of being organized by writing it down or putting it in a calendar or setting up a task manager, I feel like can be really helpful because it frees up your mind just to be free, and you can also free it up to think about other stuff. You can free it up and be able to focus on things more, not have to worry about what's coming next because you can just look at it on your list. I hope that makes sense. And I'm still finding ways that I can fine tune my systems to make it even better for me. But if you're struggling with finding a way to be organized, just have a look at what other people do. I found out about the Notion system I use because one of my friends was talking about it, and then I looked up how do students use Notion. I found this really great template on YouTube. I'll probably link it in the description if you want to check it out. It's a really good template. And yeah, before then, what would I do? I think before I had Notion, what did I do? I think I just went off by what was on the canvas or blackboard. I think that's how I did it. It was less organized before then. But having that set up really, really helped me a lot. It was great. And since I've adopted these systems of using Notion and using a to-do list, I feel much more organized. I don't have to worry about due dates. I don't miss due dates as long as I have everything in my syllabus accounted for and I remember to check it. I'll know everything that I need to do for the week. And of course, for that, I have to go through at the start of the semester and manually put in every single assignment I have to do. But that work at the start of the semester, when it's usually not that difficult stuff going on, it's like syllabus week, you're being introduced to the class, typically not a lot going on. That's a great time for me to put in all the assignments and get organized and get ready for when the work starts. And again, being organized isn't easy, and it can be hard to find a system that suits you. Keep trying stuff and see what works and see what doesn't, and understand or try to understand why a particular system doesn't work. What would you like to see instead? And then you can keep that in mind when looking at future systems. But yeah, decluttering. If you have a bunch of clutter, if you were like me in December 2019 with a huge closet full of stuff, and it's overwhelming and maybe even a little scary, just do like 5-10 minutes a day on it. Maybe every other day, however much or however little you want to do on it. Just slowly take your time. If that's something you want to do, is you have all this clutter and you want to get rid of it. I made this point earlier, but you can take it as fast or as slow as you want. That's all right. I mean, I'm still working on my closet. It's still not done. I wouldn't call it done, even though a lot of it is done. Yeah, but yeah, it's tough. But I promise you that when you do that, it's going to make you feel much better about that space in your room. That space is going to emit good vibes and not vibes that are bad or frustrating. But yeah, that's what I have to say about decluttering. It's been very helpful for me in making me more peaceful, giving more positive vibes in my space, giving me a more clear mind. It's been very good in helping me be organized as well, knowing exactly what I have. It's something everyone should do is make sure they don't have clutter if they can help it. But yeah, it can be hard, and I know it can be a very daunting task if you have a lot. Just go as fast or as slow as you want. Doesn't have to be every day. Try your best to make it a very small thing by breaking it up into those chunks. Because it's gonna be less of a commitment. And then after 5-10 minutes, you stop and then you do something else. That's what I have to say about it. It's a very worthwhile thing. And being organized in general is always important. For any part of your life, being organized is going to help tremendously. I think that's all I have to say about decluttering. Bit of a lighter topic this time around, but it's been on my mind. It's something I've done and I'm still working on. Still have a little bit more to do in my closet. I could probably check my emails again and get rid of stuff and clean up and tidy up, but it's been very good for me and my mental well-being. And if you want to learn more about decluttering, there's a lot of resources online of people sharing their stories with decluttering. I know there's a Reddit forum for it, r/decluttering. There's a bunch of videos on YouTube. You could probably find stuff on Facebook. And who knows, if you sell your stuff, you can make a little bit of money too, like I did. Making money's good. You make money, get a better space, you're happier. Win-win. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you listening. These videos have been very fun to make, and I hope that they've been entertaining, and if you're in a similar spot as me, maybe you got something from it, or were inspired, or you learned something. I'd love to hear about your experience if you'd like to share. And again, I appreciate you listening.